Milk, egg, sugar, same old, yet different ratios create completely different crème caramel. Which is best? Curious Food Lab testing now brings the Lab Series 2. The series consists of 3 main tests, including 13 recipes, which are based on a broad range of egg-milk ratio. I'll specify along the way. All recipes require a cup of hot milk unless otherwise specified. All sugar has been prorated. Several 350ml or 12.5-ounce ramekins, and all of them have been pre-coated with a layer of caramel. All use a water bath and are baked at 320 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes, then done 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 degrees Celsius. The eventual baking time for each test remains the same, but varies for each. We have a lot to play with this time. Let's start with no-brainer recipes. Test 1 includes 4 recipes. The difference is the number of whole eggs used in each recipe, and the small egg here represents half an egg. Add sugar to the egg, mix well, add the milk, sift each batch, then sift each again directly into ramekins to almost the same height. Bake for 60 minutes, then another 10 and another 10 till it's about to drive me crazy. Here's what they look like after the baking. From left to right, which represents recipe 1 to 4 by order, their wobbling decreases. Actually, from too wobbly to a little wiggle, both situations are concerning. Anyway, they need to be chilled in the refrigerator overnight. And the next day, let's take a look. Recipe 1 looks consistently watery. Recipe 2 looks alright. 3 gives me a subtle wiggle, and 4 doesn't even bother to move. Time to have a taste. Recipe 1, as expected, I don't even dare to shake the spoon hard. The center is not fully set. The taste is okay, quite light. Recipe 2, the spoon feels better. However, it still looks not strong enough. The taste is good. Move on to 3, much stronger. Jiggles look good, but the mouth feels a little too firm. The last one also exceeds my expectation. The jiggles also look good, but it tastes even firmer than I thought. A Delta 1 and 2 will stand when immersed, so these 2 are definitely out. 3 and 4 are baffling. Look, they both dance so well, as if they taste as good. But the truth is, they're way too firm to the mouth, and I can't even tell how they taste like. Shame. I had the highest hope for recipe 4, as it has the best ratio and is the inspiration for test 2. Before moving on, I wonder what recipe 2 would look like, so I inverted. It's delicate, but stands better than thought. Taste-wise, let's say it's the best among the 4. Test 2 also includes 4 recipes, and they're designed to have the same fat ratio and almost the same water content as recipe 4. So that's 1 yolk, half an egg, 3/4 of yolk, then 1 egg, 2 yolks, and a third cup of milk plus 2 eggs, 1 white. Recipe 8 has the least volume as it's been prorated to the best economical amount. Imagine if I used a whole cup of milk, I had to use 6 whole eggs and 3 whites. That's too much for one testing recipe. Truth to be told, I don't even have high hope for it anyway. But in general, all tests should be able to fill up the ramekins. Same water bath, and this time they're pulled out at 70 minutes. Right after baking, recipe 5 seems a little too wobbly. 6, 7 are close. Recipe 8 just stands still. Put them in a refrigerator to chill overnight, and the next day, shake them again. Recipe 5 still looks a bit concerning. 6 and 7 are both set, with 7 looking a touch better. 8 is not a surprise, even hotter. Now comes the taste test. 5 looks better than I thought, jiggling and not falling apart.
Wow.
6 is not as bad as 5, jiggling with some strength, looks creamy.
Oh, wow.
As for the 7, the big pine cone comes out clean and dances beautifully.
Ooh.
Recipe 8 is funny. As much as I want to give it up, it gives me hope. As contrasting with the firmness, it actually tastes very good.
Oh, wow.
And to be fair, it has the smoothest surface. But then, it gives me a hard time unmolding. And it slips right out standing firmly on the counter. No problem for me to lift it right back into the plate. 5 got crushed a little bit, disregarded my poor unmolding, maybe because it's simply not firm enough. 6 looks better, with the same unmolding problem. 7 gets even better, and it is strong enough to stand tall. 8 has the neatest look. Although I dropped it hard, it only has a little crack on the side. Now, another round of tasting. Again, they all taste very good, but 8 is definitely out. I think 7 is best, as it just melts in the mouth, and the structure is the best among the 4. But to be sure, I gotta taste them again, and the game is down to 6 and 7. And it's getting obvious that one of them is just superior in both mouthfeel and flavor, and that is recipe 7. Test 3 is just different combinations of egg, yolk, and white. These two represent half an egg. This means half a yolk, and that is one yolk. One white each, and half a white. I checked the doneness at 75 minutes, then extended to 10 minutes, and another 10, and another 10, and an ultimatum 5, till the last least set ramekin drove me nuts. And this is a criminal, recipe 10. 9 looks just right. 11 similar. I scratched the surface 12 a little bit, but not a problem. Also wobbles alright. 13 looks wobblier than 12. Chill them overnight, and let's take a look at the next day. Criminal 10 is obviously watery under the skin. 9 is all set. 11 has subtle movement underneath. 12 is almost the same. And 13 obviously moves more. Now my favorite part. 9 looks clean, jiggles well, and tastes, notably eggy. 10 looks a little too wet, however, manages to dance on the spoon, but tastes a little too light. 11 is interesting, as you can tell from my reaction.
Oh. Very good.
12 is also good, but not better than 11. As for 13, the spoonful looks clean, but not a kind of dry clean like recipe 3 and 4. The dance is just beautiful, and I didn't expect this.
Oh. Wow.
So based on just one bite, I think 11-13 tastes better among 5. Structure-wise, I don't believe recipe 10 will survive the inversion, so this is definitely out. Now I'm left with recipe 9, 11, 12, and 13. When inverted, all of them stand well. Recipe 9 is the palest among the 4, and again, except for my poor unmolding, it otherwise looks smooth. Recipe 11 looks much better, and it is the brownest of all. 12 and 13 are the same shameful unmolding story. Now taste round 2, and this time, recipe 9 is confirmed to be the least favorite, as not only it tastes a little pale, but it smells notably eggy. However, look at the wobbles, they all look great. You see, great wobbles or jiggles don't necessarily mean they taste great. Now I have 11, 12, and 13, 13, 12, and 11, then 13, 11, 13, 11, I think these 3 are quite similar to each other, but 12 is slightly inferior to 11, 13. One thing for sure is recipe 9 is out. Instead, best recipe 7 from test 2 is back in the picture. Learned a lesson from recipe 9, I start to sniff each of them, trying to discover whether there is a telltale. Luckily, they all pass the test. Interestingly, with 7 on the site this time, it's not hard to confirm these 2, and recipe 11 and 12 are out. Last 2, I hope it's getting easier. Both smell great. I intended to show you how well they stand with only half side left. But the bottom of the plate is a little rocky, so in the end, I made a mess. Anyhow, you can tell the difference, right? 7 stands more firmly than 13, yet 13 still holds its position. Taste testing, though, is not easy. 7 is rich and creamy, while 13 is smooth and tender. I like both very much. And texture-wise, just by a small flat spoon, I also can tell the big difference. If I have to call it, I think the melt-in-the-mouth factor wins over. So 7 is the best recipe, and 13 is the runner-up. But wait, I still can't let go of recipe 4 and 8. I wonder if they didn't work is because they were baked too long. So this round, I'll use different time. This is 8 pulled out at 60 minutes. Darn, looks overset a little. 7, the same 70 minutes as before, looks perfect. 4 at 72, also looks good. And 13, this time I aimed for 110 minutes. It feels a little wetter than 7, but overall good. The next day, 4 has surprised me as it doesn't move. 8 has the smoothest surface, but looks overset. 7 has slight move underneath, perfect. 13 again is a little better than 7. When tapping them, see the difference? 7 and 13 are pleasantly satisfying. 8 doesn't budge, 4 actually moves a little. And except the top is a little rough, it actually looks smooth. 8 has a lot of creeping holes on the side. 7 consistently looks pretty, and surface is smoothest. 13 is wobbliest of all and a little delicate. 4 tastes not bad, to be honest, but like jelly, a little too far. But I can feel the creaminess in the background. Oddly, 8 can jiggle, but is just not good, and tastes like a combination of hard egg and hard jelly. 7 once again impressed me, and 13 is the same. Let's take a close look at them again. See the difference? 7 and 13 definitely look superior. So the winners are definitely these guys. I had doubts about these two, as I wondered if I baked them too long in the first place. I already cut a baking time, and I wasn't trying to be economical this time, but they're simply not getting better. 8 is out without doubt, and 4 failed to impress me again. So now I'm double confirmed 7 is best recipe, 13 is runner-up. For any of you who might claim the tests are flawed, I'll test the last batches for you. This time, I'll bring back the runner-up 6 in test 2, and a personal curiosity of a recipe that has 4 egg ratio, the highest number in a recipe I've seen so far. However, it's a little too firm. And
Eggy. Okay.
Recipe 6.
Tender. And creamy. Very good.
Now recipe 13.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
And lastly 7.
Wow.
Recipe Curious is eggy and a little too firm, although the structure looks okay. To be fair, these 3 are all very good. If you put 6 or 13 right in front of me, I'd easily think either is the best. But with 7 on the side, neither is comparable. But another round of tasting, Recipe Curious is definitely out. If I have to pick the bone in the egg right now, Recipe 6 is a little eggier than the other 2. And that's another confirmation of the best recipe and runner-up. So the best takeaway, and also a surprise I found out later, is both 7 and 13 have the yolk to white ratio of 3:1. The higher the fat doesn't mean the better the taste, but the lower the fat and the higher the water will result in higher chance of weak structure. An increasing number of whole eggs will increase the firmness. More than 2 eggs in a cup of milk will increase the risk of tasting eggy or even rubbery. And here's the rough ranking of taste of all recipes, including Recipe Curious. Here's an overview of the tests I've done over the course of 5 days, but it's not over. You ever wondered the variables of making the same recipe? That's what I'll test next time. Stay tuned.